imagine for a second, the ultimate romantic setting. You've got this crisp autumn air, those rich, fiery tree colors everywhere, maybe some soft golden lighting, and just the subtle scent of warm spice in the air.
Oh, yeah. The absolute dream scenario.
Right. But what if I told you that chasing that exact postcard-perfect autumn vibe might actually cause the most stressful logistical nightmare of your entire life?
I mean, it totally will. It is a fascinating and honestly kind of brutal collision of romance and just ruthless logistics.
Which is exactly what we're getting into in today's deep dive. We've been poring over this incredible, comprehensive guide that we found in the article section of the Weddizer website.
Which, by the way, if you're not familiar with Weddizer, it is an absolute gold mine.
Oh, completely. If you ever have to do any sort of niche venue selection, Weddizer's the tool you want. Their articles just give you this brilliant roadmap for the hidden complexities of the event industry.
Yeah, it's not just pretty pictures, it's real tactical guidance.
Exactly. So today, we're using their insights to settle a massive destination wedding debate. We're putting the classic world-famous charm of New England right up against a really strategic challenger, which is Eastern Canada.
And honestly, even if you are never, ever going to plan a wedding, you should still care about this.
Why is that?
Because whether you're helping a friend or you're just fascinated by how local economies work, understanding how to navigate this kind of hyper-seasonal demand, I mean, it's a masterclass in strategic planning. It shows you exactly how consumer behavior shifts based entirely on geography.
Right, geography dictates everything. But before we actually put these two heavyweight regions in the ring together, let's just talk about the autumn aesthetic itself. Because based on the Weddizer article, autumn has basically become this ultra-premium season.
Oh, it's huge now.
Yeah. This sudden shift away from the traditional, June or July summer wedding.
Well, what's really fascinating here is that it comes down to a shift from visual planning to, complete holistic sensory planning.
Okay, sensory planning. Break that down for me.
So for decades, everybody focused strictly on the visual, right? You wanted sunshine, green grass, blooming flowers.
The classic June wedding aesthetic.
Exactly. But the industry finally kind of woke up to the fact that a summer event is often just an active fight against the environment.
Oh, I know. You're just sweating in a suit.
Right. You're renting these massive industrial cooling units. You're trying to time the ceremony so your guests aren't blinded by that brutal midday glare. And yeah, you're praying people don't sweat right through their formal wear.
It's all about mitigating discomfort in the summer.
Precisely.
Yeah.
But a fall event, it curates everything at once. The physical comfort of the guests, the temperature, the culinary palette. Suddenly you can serve pumpkin, apple, and heavy spice flavors.
And the lighting.
Yes. The angle of the sun physically changes. It sits lower, so you get that soft lighting that photographers literally dream about.
Okay, let's unpack this. Because it sounds like choosing a fall wedding is basically like hiring Mother Nature to be your unpaid, highly skilled set designer.
That is exactly what you're doing.
But wait. If New England is the universally acknowledged gold standard for this set design, I mean, we're talking Vermont barns, New Hampshire mountains, the whole rustic charm thing.
Yep, the rolling hills, the covered bridges, it's iconic.
It is. But here's where it gets really interesting to me. Doesn't that make New England an absolute logistical nightmare for you to actually book?
Oh, it's an absolute gauntlet. The Weddizer guide is very upfront about this harsh reality. They call it the tourist congestion factor.
Because it's not just weddings, right?
No, not at all. You are competing with the leaf peepers.
The leaf peepers.
Yeah, millions of tourists who flood into a handful of states during a highly unpredictable 3-week window, literally just to drive around and look at the trees.
Well, you're not just fighting for a venue. You're fighting for hotel rooms.
Hotel rooms, rental cars, catering staff. When you have that much demand crammed into such a tiny geographical bottleneck, costs just skyrocket. To get a premium venue in New England on a peak date, you are booking a year, sometimes 2 years, in advance.
Wow, 2 years just to secure a barn in Vermont.
And you are paying top-of-the-market premiums for it.
Okay, so if I'm using Weddizer for my niche venue selection, and I see that New England is crowded and absurdly expensive, what's the pivot? Where do I go?
This is where the guide offers a brilliant alternative. It says, look, just shift your gaze a little bit further north. Look at Eastern Canada.
The dark horse challenger.
Exactly. Eastern Canada offers this incredible diversity. You've got mountains, forests, huge lakes, rivers, coastlines.
And different vibes, right? Like it's not just all rustic barns.
Right. You have these gorgeous countryside estates in Quebec, which give you this incredible European, French-influenced charm. Or you can look at vineyard venues in Ontario or a dramatic coastal cliffs in Nova Scotia.
Okay, I have an analogy for this. Choosing Eastern Canada is kind of like discovering this incredible indie band before they sell out massive stadiums.
Oh, I love that.
Like you get the exact same amazing music, or in this case, the same vivid red and orange foliage, but the front row tickets are actually affordable. And you aren't fighting a massive crowd of tourists.
That is exactly the dynamic. You are getting better value, more budget flexibility, and honestly, just room to breathe. The atmosphere is so much more relaxed because the tourist congestion just isn't there in the same way.
But wait, if we connect this to the bigger picture,
Yeah.
the geography actually changes the logistics, doesn't it? Because Canada is further north.
Yes, and that is a critical point. The colder climate means the peak color window shifts slightly earlier,
So when are we talking?
usually late September to early October, whereas New England might peak mid to late October depending on elevation.
Okay, so you have to be highly strategic about your dates. You can't just pick October 15th and assume it'll work in either location.
Right, you have to actively monitor foliage forecasts. And that brings us to the practical execution part of the Weddizer strategy guide.
Yes, let's get into the tactical advice.
Yeah.
Because knowing where to go is great, but pulling it off is a whole different beast. What does this actually mean for you when you're signing the contracts?
Well, first off, fall is peak season in both regions. So even if Canada is the indie band, you still need to secure venues 9 to 12 months in advance.
Still almost a year.
Oh, absolutely. But the biggest tactical advice is about weather mitigation. Because weather is unpredictable and foliage changes rapidly, a heavy rainstorm can knock all the leaves off the trees in one night.
Oh man, that would be devastating if you flew everyone out for that.
Which is why the Weddizer Guide emphasizes that successful event planning isn't about hoping for good weather, it's about risk mitigation. You always, always need a backup indoor or tented option.
But they actually go deeper than just throwing up a tent, right?
Yeah.
The aesthetic execution they talk about is fascinating.
Yeah, they talk about really embracing seasonal themes indoors.
Right, using warm color palettes and cozy textures. I love the specific mention of bringing in velvet, wool, and raw wood accents.
It's so smart because if it's freezing outside and you have to move the party indoors, those textures, the velvet and the wool, they make the space feel intentionally cozy, not like a compromised backup plan.
It feels luxurious.
Oh, exactly. But the ultimate hack, the most crucial piece of advice in the whole guide, is about your vendors.
Yes. Hiring local vendors.
You cannot fly your favorite photographer in from California and expect them to know how to shoot a New England or Canadian autumn.
Why not? I mean, a good photographer is a good photographer, right?
Because a local photographer or a local planner possesses this hyper-local intelligence, they don't just know how to take a picture. They know exactly which grove of birch trees is tucked behind a hill and holds its leaves 3 days longer than the rest of the valley.
Oh, wow. So when the main scenic overlook is totally bare, they know a secret spot just down the road.
Exactly. They know the microclimates. They know how the light hits the mountains at 4 p.m. versus 5 p.m. in October. That local knowledge is your ultimate insurance policy.
It makes total sense. You're not just hiring an artist. You're hiring a local guide.
A foliage Sherpa, basically.
A foliage Sherpa. I love that. Okay, so to synthesize this whole Weddizer venue selection guide for everyone listening, you really have two amazing paths here. You can choose New England if you want that classic, iconic American autumn charm, and you're willing to navigate the crowds and the premium costs. Or you can choose Eastern Canada for diverse landscapes, a bit of European flair, and much more budget-friendly tranquility.
But either way, you're guaranteed a magical, warm, and totally colorful celebration, as long as you plan strategically.
Exactly. But before we wrap up, I want to leave you with one final thought to mull over, something that the guide touches on regarding timing, but we really have to look at the bigger picture.
Yeah, the climate factor.
Right. We spend all this time trying to perfectly time our dates to historical foliage forecasts. But considering how unpredictable global weather patterns have become lately, how might these traditional peak foliage windows shift in the next 10 years?
It's a really profound question. I mean, will the map of ideal destination wedding dates look entirely different by the time you or maybe your kids are ready to plan one?
Will the foliage peak in November? Will New England even be the gold standard anymore, or will everyone be pushed even further north? It's wild to think about.
Mother Nature is always the one really in charge of the timeline.
She really is. Well, thank you so much for joining us on this deep dive. I hope this gave you a whole new appreciation for the hidden logistics behind those perfect autumn photos.
It's definitely a lot more than just pretty leaves.
Totally. So keep exploring, stay curious, and hey, maybe go enjoy something pumpkin spice today. Catch you next time.